solutions and discover new ideas together. We thank you, Lord, for the success of both institutions as we continue to trust you, Lord, because we are confident, Lord, of this one thing, that he that hath begun a good thing is able to see it until the end. And so, Lord, we pray, God, that while we're here, that this partnership will continue to grow and bear good fruits. We give you thanks for all the leaders of these institutions, and we thank you, Lord, for this another excellent year, Lord, as we celebrate this partnership. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Dean Tomlinson. I am Dr. Sheila Paul, AVP for Academic Affairs, and I forgot to introduce myself earlier. I am delighted at this point to welcome Professor Bernadette Warner, our Deputy President of UCC, who will officially open this evening's discussion. But first, a bit about her before she joins us on stage. Professor Bernadette Warner is the Deputy President of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, bringing over 30 years of experience in academia and higher education leadership. She holds a doctorate in strategic management from UE and has served in senior roles at institutions in the Caribbean, the UK, and the UAE, including BPP University, Cardiff Metropolitan University, American University in the Emirates, and Al Fala University. Her career spans teaching, research, academic leadership, and international consultancy with a focus on strategic management and senior executive development. Widely respected for her global impact on business education, she remains a dedicated advocate for academic excellence and institutional growth. Please help me welcome Professor Bernadette Warner.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul. Let me first say and acknowledge Dr. Winston Adams, our founder and Group Executive Chairman of the UCC and Spectrum Groups, Mrs. Geraldine Adams, Deputy Group Executive Chairperson of the UCC and Spectrum Groups, Professor Colin Giles, our President, Dr. Yvonne Dawkins, Associate Vice President for Student Affairs and Academic Administration, Mr. Denario Brown, Vice President, Strategy and Innovation, NCB Capital Markets Limited, and our keynote speaker today, Dr. Sheila Paul, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Karian Hepburn Malcolm, Head Wealth Management, NCB, and will be the moderator of this evening's discussion, Ms. Novandra Allen, Manager Analytics, Domain National Commercial Bank Jamaica Limited, a member of the panel, Dr. Peter Endaja, the Dean of the School of Mathematics, Science, and Technology at UCC, and also a panel member today. Dr. Ranisha Blake, Data Scientist and Manager, Ministry of National Security, and a panelist today. Dr. Lily Tomlinson, Dean of the College of Occupational and Applied Sciences or Studies at UCC. Dr. Andrea Sutherland, our Dean, College of Graduate Studies and Research, all of our esteemed NCB representatives, all members of the UCC Board of Directors, heads of departments, faculty, staff, and students, other distinguished and specially invited guests, friends, visitors, all. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, wonderful. So I am honored, deeply honored, to deliver welcome and opening remarks at today's event, the 2025 NCB UCC Rickert Allen Memorial Lecture. This promises to be an exceptional and inspiring event, and I'm truly excited to see so many engaged minds gathered here in the lecture theater as well as online, representing diverse industry professionals, academics, government officials, students, business community, and other private sector stakeholders, and those with just an interest in the financial sector of our nation and the role of AI in shaping it. So first, let me extend a very warm welcome to you on behalf of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean. Your presence here and online signals a shared commitment to development in higher education, as well as the growth, innovation, and shaping of a vibrant, inclusive future of Jamaica's financial sector. We welcome you, and as we work together to build a stronger, smarter economy, we look forward to deepening our collaboration with you in various ways, whether through research, strategic partnerships, or capacity building initiatives that can harness the power of AI and data to drive the development and growth of our economy. This lecture series, now in its 5th year, was established to honor the legacy of the late Dr. Rickert Allen, former chairman of the UCC Board of Directors, and a distinguished financial executive and senior general manager at NCB. Many may recall that through his visionary leadership, Dr. Allen made a profound and lasting impact, mainly in the fields of finance and innovation, areas that remain critical to Jamaica's progress and national development. Thus, UCC is excited to continue partnering with the National Commercial Bank in the staging of this year's event. I note that we cherish this enduring relationship with NCB, which is founded on mutual values of education, innovation, and national development. And together, we have established a platform that pays tribute to Dr. Allen's legacy. And so today, we not only honor his legacy, but we continue to build on this legacy by continuing to explore emerging challenges, promote knowledge sharing, and encourage innovation. We continue to prepare future leaders to thrive in the changing financial and technological environment by promoting these kinds of discourse that bring people together around other significant topics and ideas on finance, economics, and other relevant issues. I'm also delighted to inform you of the Dr. Rickert Allen Memorial Scholarship, which supports one Jamaican student annually to pursue the Bachelor of Science, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or the Bachelor of Science in Networking with Cybersecurity program at the UCC. This scholarship is valued at $600,000 annually. It is anticipated that an announcement on the 2025 recipient will be made at the appropriate time. So I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we gather at a pivotal time in history. It's a time many refer to as the fourth industrial revolution and AI. One of its chief cornerstones is making groundbreaking accomplishments, including revolutionizing methods of wealth creation. With its heavy reliance on data, the financial sector stands to reap significant benefits from AI's potential to analyze this extensive data at remarkable speeds, delivering insights that would normally take us years to uncover. So today, we come to honor the spirit of innovation and forward thinking that Dr. Rickert Allen exemplified. We also come together to learn, to prepare, and strategize for the future. I am fascinated by the theme for today's event, from data to dollars, the role of AI in revolutionizing investment strategies. Not only because it resonates deeply with our future and current realities, but it is important to note that remarkable potential of data, when it is properly collected, analyzed, and interpreted, it can be transformed into significant organizational and financial wealth. So what a great opportunity for us as an institution and as a nation to be part of this process. We should make every effort to capitalize on this opportunity. As stated in the World Economic Forum publication, investment companies embracing AI with a commitment to responsible governance stand to unlock unparalleled opportunities for value creation. This article also states, employing artificial intelligence across the investment lifecycle can transform how firms make, manage, and optimize investments. So with this knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, we should be actively seeking to build our capacity in AI, invest in the necessary digital infrastructure, as well as establish partnerships that will allow us to utilize data as a valuable economic asset. Based on all I have said and what I anticipate, I am confident that the discussions that will be generated around today's theme will be timely, fitting, and essential, particularly following UCC's recent international recognition at the 2025 Annual Investment Meeting Future Cities Award in Abu Dhabi, where we, UCC, received the Smart Infrastructure Award for our transformative EcoVista Jamaica project. Yes. Thank you. So as a university committed to innovation and leadership, we take pride in participating in conversations about the critical role of technology, especially artificial intelligence, in our industries. Today, our conversations will explore how AI is reshaping our industries, particularly in its increasing relevance to investment strategies and decision-making processes. Our panelists will pose other critical questions, such as how data can be transformed into valuable, actionable financial insights, how human intuition and AI can work together to facilitate smarter, more effective financial decisions, and more critically, how this dynamic intersection of technology, expertise, and insight can promote sustainable investment growth in Jamaica and throughout the Caribbean. But these are the conversations that I will leave to the panel, and we look forward to the discussions that they will be engaged in later on. So at this point, I would like to extend my gratitude to all who made this event possible, particularly the dedicated planning teams from both NCB and UCC. These and others have played an important role in ensuring the success of this event, and their efforts to host this memorial lecture are commendable. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I am excited to hear the conversations that will unfold. I am also hopeful that each of us will leave here not only informed, but also inspired and empowered with a better understanding of how businesses, investors, and organizations can leverage AI-driven data that can basically turn information into income. I am confident that this lecture will be a thought-provoking exploration of the opportunities and challenges that AI presents, particularly transforming the financial services industry, especially in the areas of investment decision-making and risk management. May it challenge us, enlighten us, and honor Dr. Allen's legacy in the very best way. Once again, thank you so much for being here and for being online. Let's make this memorial lecture a memorable one. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Warner, for your welcome and your inspiration. Okay, it is now my pleasure to welcome and introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Denario Brown, Vice President of Strategy and Innovation at NCB Capital Markets. A little bit about Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is the Vice President, Strategy and Innovation for NCB Capital Markets Limited. Denario is responsible for the strategic transformation of NCBCM and its subsidiaries, identifying and driving new growth opportunities across multiple jurisdictions, the development and launch of new products, services, and channels, including the group's digital transformation. He has over 15 years' experience in the financial services industry, which includes experience in product development, digital and business transformation, project management, innovation, and data analytics. He currently leads NCBCM's wealth management team across all segments of the business. Mr. Brown brings a wealth of experience at the intersection of finance, data, and technology, and will set the stage for tonight's important conversation. Mr. Brown, please join me on stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Winston Adams, Group Executive Chairman, UCC. Mrs. Geraldine Adams, Deputy Group Executive Chairman, UCC. Professor Colin Giles, President, UCC. Professor Bernadette Warner, Deputy President, UCC, Dr. Yvonne Dawkins, Associate VP for Student Affairs and Academic Administration, UCC, Ms. Nicole Brown, VP, Enterprise Information Management, NCB, Ms. Novandra Allen, Manager Analytics, COE Domain, NCB, Dr. Renisha Blake, Data Scientist and Manager, Citizen Security Secretariat, Ministry of National Security, Dr. Carrie-Ann Hepburn Malcolm, Head of Wealth Management, NCB, Dr. Sheila Paul, Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs, UCC, Dr. Peter Endaja, that's correct? Endaja, that's better. School of Mathematics, Science and Technology, UCC. Dr. Andrea Sutherland, Dean, School of Graduate Studies and Research. Dr. Lilith Tomlinson, Dean of the College of Occupational and Applied Studies. All members of the Board of Directors, all heads of departments, all members of faculty and staff, students, other specially invited and distinguished guests, good evening. The National Commercial Bank and the UCC welcomes all our invited guests as we reimagine the future of finance in this, our 5th Rickert Allen Memorial Lecture under the theme, join me, From Data to Dollars, the role of AI in revolutionizing investment strategies. Let's do that again. Under the theme, From Data to Dollars, the role of AI in revolutionizing investment strategies. I think I left the clicker over there. Carrie-Ann, Dr. Carrie-Ann, can you help me? It's in the bag. Bring the bag. While she makes her way, the world is certainly changing before us, before our eyes. As tensions rage in global trade, aka the tariffs, economies are shaken, businesses are shaken, and Jamaica and our Caribbean partners are not spared of its impact. We simply must pay attention. Artificial intelligence is emerging in everything that we do. It's in our mobile devices, on our mobile devices. It's in our appliances. It's online as we surf the internet. It is certainly in our emails. PwC there we go. PwC Global Artificial Intelligence Study anticipates that AI could contribute up to US 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. I know 2030 sounds far, but it is less than 5 years away. With significant gains in sectors like finance due to increased productivity and personalization. This signals major opportunities for Jamaica to further modernize banking, attract tech-driven investment, and accelerate financial innovation. Recognizing this momentum, NCB and UCC are bringing the conversation home as we are committed to building a better Jamaica by creating wealth for all Jamaicans. Now, innovation and wealth creation are not new to NCB and Jamaica, as we have seen significant innovation in the financial industry through developments in the capital markets via the Jamaica Stock Exchange, as we recall. Through thought leadership and collaboration, NCB Capital Markets, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, the regulators, and industry partners have transformed the investment landscape in Jamaica and the Caribbean, delivering significant value for investors, businesses, and the country. This was done through the introduction of our Go IPO platform for initial public offering applications, where we digitized completely the IPO application process. As the next step, we introduced on our Go IPO platform digital account opening for onboarding new investors onto the stock exchange. This platform is delivering over 70% in accounts opened annually for NCB Capital Markets, and since its implementation, industry partners have followed suit, and now IPO applications are completely digital. There is no paper. Key drivers behind the successful performance of the stock market over the last decade include, among other things, investor education and financial inclusion. Financial inclusion, according to the World Bank, means that individuals and businesses have access to and use affordable financial products and services that meet their financial needs, which are delivered in a responsible and sustainable way. Artificial intelligence provides another innovative opportunity to evolve the way we do business in Jamaica and deliver significant value to more Jamaicans. I dare say artificial intelligence is the next big development in the securities industry in Jamaica. Our objectives today are to understand how data can be translated to dollars. Let me see who is interested in that. Everybody, two hands. All right? We want to look to see how data can be translated to dollars. We want to take a brief look at what artificial intelligence is. We don't want to assume that everyone is aware of what it is. So it will be high level because it can be very complex. We also want to look at the role of AI as a strategic enabler or partner in investment strategies. So we have here what I coin the data to dollars process. It involves, or it refers to converting data insights into tangible financial value or revenue. It starts with data analysis. That's where we collect, process, and analyze the data. Then we move to insight generation, where we identify patterns, trends, and correlations within the data to inform business decisions. This is then translated to actionable recommendations, which then leads to the financial impact, which is where the dollars are delivered in the form of increased revenues, reduced costs, or improved profitability. Applications of the data to dollars process include: 1, business intelligence. Businesses use data analytics to inform strategic business decisions. Market optimization. 2, where we analyze customer data to optimize marketing campaigns and improve the return on investments. 3, investment decisions, where we use data insights to inform investment decisions and drive financial returns. And operational efficiency, where we analyze operational data to identify areas for improvement and reduce costs. Now, NCB has applied the data to dollars process internally for decades. It's not new. We have our VP EIM here. She led the charge over the years, and now we are seeing the benefits. Over the past 4 years, NCB employed data to understand clients and delivered over 18 billion in digital loan sales annually over the past 4 years. This represents over 200,000 sales annually to clients. This was accomplished by understanding the client behavior, by looking at spending patterns, to anticipate their needs, select the best product on the best channel at the right time. These sales represent 56% of total consumer unsecured loan sales over the past 4 years. This represents the power of data, converting data to dollars, to increase sales in our businesses. Leveraging data analytics and insights, organizations can unlock financial value and drive business growth. But what does this have to do with artificial intelligence? Let's first look at what is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is defined, according to IBM, as technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. AI applications or devices can see, identify objects, understand and respond to human language, and learn new information and experience. Now, AI is not new. It has existed for several years, over 70 years, and has components and technologies such as machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing. Now, these are big words. Let me break it down for you. This is a simplified model where we take training data, we feed it into the model, and then you can take new data, put it to the trained bot or model, and then from that, it uses the trained data to predict or classify, right? To break it down further for you, let me see those who have children here. When we are training them to talk, to walk, to understand, we give them examples. We show them pictures, cat, dog, animals, and hat, right? And then they repeat. So when they see it next, they would say, dog, 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 right? It's likewise, artificial intelligence, it takes data in, utilize that data when it is trained to recognize patterns and to make predictions and classifications, right? So that is the simplified explanation of the artificial intelligence and how it works. Are you with me? All right, good. Now, the role of artificial intelligence. Investment decision making has always depended on data and judgment. The real power in AI's ability is to process data at scale, thereby executing the data to dollars process in significantly reduced time. According to the World Economic Forum 2025, advanced analytics can flag emerging industries and undervalued assets long before the traditional methods and competitors even take notice. Back to the children. AI can study and recognize patterns that you aren't even aware of. My young son, I hear him using language that I'm asking him, where did you get that from? Unbeknown to me, that I use that same language. So he studies and watches and observes me, and he is replicating and learning from what I am doing. Artificial intelligence is continuously learning. As it receives new data, it processes it and applies it to make new predictions and to improve and to enhance its capabilities. The CFA Institute indicates that AI is more prevalent, current, and expected investment-focused use cases include identifying patterns and trends in the market behavior, and optimizing portfolio allocation and risk management. These are the two top areas where they see the most significant value in investing and delivering value to clients and to the industry. Now, the role of artificial intelligence in Jamaica. What are some of the applications? While AI is in investments is in its infancy stages in Jamaica, AI can play several transformative roles in revolutionizing the industry. We see opportunities in education and awareness, where AI-powered applications can provide educational resources to investors to enhance financial literacy and engage in market and engagement in the market. We see robo-advisors. These are AI platforms that can provide automated financial advice, accelerating investment guidance, and making it accessible to a broader audience and at lower fees. We also see personalized investment strategies, which are AI-created tailored investment portfolios based on an individual investor's preferences, risk tolerance, goals, and financial situations. It uses data analysis and insights, historical data. AI can predict market movements and identify potential investment opportunities, helping investors to anticipate market changes. last but not least, improved efficiencies. AI can help to streamline operations in financial institutions through AI programs, reducing costs and improving service delivery, ultimately benefiting investors. Now, a practical example. NCB has been integrating AI into our business for some time now and has recently launched its AI-powered risk profiler and asset allocator earlier this year. The WhatsApp chatbot, Simone, uses customer responses to assess individuals' risk appetite and generates personalized investment recommendations in real time. I'm going to invite you now to take out your phone and to WhatsApp My Wealth to 876-728-7075. Let me repeat, 876-728-7075. It takes less than 5 minutes to complete 6 questions, and in real time will generate your risk profile and provide an asset allocation. Now, Anna, I believe we have three tokens for the first person who will complete. You finished already? Wow. So it's less than 1 minute to complete the risk profiler questionnaire, right? To generate your investment risk profile and receive your asset allocation. This information will be fed into our databases where we will utilize it to determine personalized investment recommendations and to provide you with insights that will enable you to create wealth. So we have one. Raise your hand again. Let me see you. All right, we have 2 more waiting. All right. You know, I probably should allow you the time to think of the questions, right? Right. All right, finish. I see you shaking your head. Do you have it? 4? You had 4? All right, 4. Think about the questions carefully. Five. I see a lot of shake heads. All right, we have 1 here, another 1 there. All right, that makes it 3 for 3 tokens. So my lady in red and this gentleman here, black, and my lady up there in brown. All right, so you have had now a first-hand experience, yes, in its infancy stages, because we are just getting started, right? We're just getting started. Infancy stages where now you have at your fingertips where you can determine your risk profile, and understanding your risk profile will help you understand how much risk you are willing to take, right? And from that, we generate your asset allocation where now we will provide tailored investment recommendations to you to grow your wealth. It is a journey that we are on to go to wealth creation, and this is your first step, and we welcome you to the NCB family by completing our risk profiler, right? And look forward to your email. You should get an email with the finalized investment portfolio recommendation. The 3 persons who hold up your hand. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you for participating. This was a practical example. We have much more to come, right? We cannot release all the secrets at this time. In summary, data, we see that data can be translated to dollars, thereby creating value for investors, individuals, businesses, and the country on a whole. While in its infancy stages, AI integration in investments has begun and is expected to become more prevalent, creating value for Jamaicans and promoting financial inclusion through investor awareness and other tools. Artificial intelligence is technology matching intelligence and characteristics of human subjects. And we see AI as a strategic enabler or partner that will transform data to dollars and how investors adjust investment strategies to add and preserve their investment portfolios. Unfortunately, that is all for now, right? We leave the rest of the discussion to the panelists, my esteemed panelists. Thank you. My name is Denaria Brown, and it was a pleasure speaking with you this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brown, for that eye-opening presentation. Don't you think it was? Yes. All right, so we're on a roll. To keep this moving, we are now at the stage where we're going to move into a panel discussion. And what's the topic again? Okay then, great. So let me introduce the panelists and invite them to the stage as their profiles are read. First, we have Dr. Peter Ndaja, received a PhD in Information Science and Engineering from Niigata University, Japan in 2011. He is currently the Dean, School of Mathematics, Science and Technology at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, Kingston, Jamaica. Dr. Ndaja has worked extensively in areas of mathematics, physics, and computer science, and has wide academic and industrial experience. He is also the recipient of several international scholarships during his studies. These include scholarships from the International Center for Theoretical Physics and the, let me see if I can say this, Mambuka Gukasho Japanese Government Scholarship, Monkasho. Have Dr. Renisha Blake, who is a Fulbright alumna and lead data manager scientist at the Citizen Security Secretariat, Ministry of National Security. She holds a PhD in Public Administration and Urban Policy from Old Dominion University, where her research explored how ICT can strengthen Jamaica's coastal resilience. In 2023, she was awarded the IIE Centennial Fellowship for her project on ICT-driven climate adaptation, and in 2020, she received the Prime Minister's National Youth Award for Excellence in Academics. Dr. Blake is also the founder and CEO of AI Research Consultancy Agency, ARCA, which advances research and technology in public policy and development. Her global perspective was shaped by an internship at Jamaica's UN mission, and her work reflects a deep commitment to resilience, innovation, and community impact. Help me welcome Dr. Renisha Blake. And of course, we've met Mr. Denario Brown, who will join us again on stage. Now, this segment will be anchored by our moderator, Dr. Karen Hepburn Malcolm. And about Dr. Karen Hepburn Malcolm, she joined National Commercial Bank Jamaica Limited in December 2023 as Head of Wealth Management. She leads the development and sale of investment and insurance products with a focus on high net worth and ultra high net worth clients and overseas private banking. With over 20 years of experience in financial services, Dr. Hepburn Malcolm previously served as Managing Director of Guardian Media Limited and held senior roles at Scotiabank, Scotia Investments, and the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation. She holds a doctorate in management from the University of Phoenix, an MBA and a BSc from the University of the West Indies. Dr. Hepburn Malcolm is also a member of the International Women's Forum. Please welcome Dr. Hepburn Malcolm, who will take us through the next phase of this discussion. AI, from data to dollars. What's it? The role of AI in revolutionizing investment strategy.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So it's been a really insightful evening so far. We had Denario Brown, we call him our resident brainiac at NCB, who delivered, I think, a very practical presentation on how data is transformed into dollars. And now we have a panel of experts who will give us several perspectives to contemplate. So I want to start by asking each of the panelists to describe how AI is impacting their respective field and its connection to investment or decision making. So let me start with Dr. Renisha.
Okay, thank you. So microphone, okay. Starting with a bang, are we? Okay, so good evening, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here. In today's financial landscape, it is axiomatic even, and from our keynote speaker, we realize that data has transitioned from a mere byproduct to a key strategic asset. With AI, we now have the capability to analyze vast amounts of data, uncovering data in real time, so insights, and also we're really transitioning, right, which is allowing us to make more precise, faster, and smarter investment decisions than ever before. So where I sit in the Ministry of National Security, I'm the data manager and scientist, and we have to use AI to really help us to not just redefine, but respond to what citizen security means to us. And so, as my role as a data scientist in government, it means that it is helping us to use tools like ArcGIS. May I see the show of hands if you know ArcGIS? Okay, so what ArcGIS is helping us to do is to really helping us to uncover data that we would get usually in a tabular format, but now we map it for you. And so individuals can look at those data sets in a geospatial manner. And what we can do is to really track where there are intersections for risks. For example, how many of us know about PATH, the PATH program? And you know about HEART. But in addition to that, we have, for example, JCF's murder and shooting statistics. So what we do through ArcGIS, which is a tool that we utilize, and the AI-enabled capabilities, is to really do predictive analytics, geospatial analysis, etc., so that we can be more proactive than reactive. So that's just an example of how we're using AI in the space, and it really means that we're becoming more data-driven. It means that we're able to make bolder risks, because what data and AI is allowing us to do is really embolden us. And as we're all solutions engineers, what we really have to do is to have a lot of things in our toolbox, because a lot of the issues that we really tackle are wicked issues, and they're very hard to define and solve. And so we have to have a toolbox, and AI and data are very critical tools in that toolbox.
Thank you, Dr. Renisha. Dr. Peter.
Yes, so it's my turn. All right. In education, let me start with an example. Here at UCC, before COVID, a lot of students like to come for face-to-face classes. You may not know it, but part of the reason why it is so attractive for them not to want to come for face-to-face classes anymore is because of AI in the products that we use for online course delivery. So you'll find that if we set up classes, most students would opt for online classes. First, it's cheaper for them. The technology has improved because of AI, so students prefer to stay at home to attend classes. But that's not all. In universities, we approach AI in two ways. First, we use it for our work, but also we do research in AI. So you will see that this semester, I think we have about 20 projects of trained AI products that we will be showcasing in the upcoming conference. So we are creating AI, and we're also using AI. You want to personalize your learning, you can use AI. You want to learn a new language, you can use AI. So there's a lot of products. You want to manage your classroom, you can use AI. You want to automate your scheduling processes for your exams, your courses, and so on. There's a plethora of products that you can use to manage your time and your work using AI. But for me, I think that in my school, I'm pushing more for research in AI. And already we're doing that. And I would like, if you know anybody who wants to cooperate in research, either as a subject or as a participator, you're welcome. All right? That's what we do.
Thank you, Dr. Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Navandra.
All right. For me, specifically, in NCB, I do work in data and analytics, specifically to support sales and customer journeys. And I'm pretty passionate about customer journeys because I think if you have great customer journeys, great experiences, it enables the loyalty from customers and ultimately the dollars that we're talking about. So in NCB, I do work with the digital channels to enhance them with AI. And right now we're in a mode of shifting them to sort of needs-based selling for customers and enhancing those journeys so they can ultimately create the wealth that they want, right? I'll give you some insight into what we've seen in terms of the digital channels and the traffic to digital channels. Typically, business or bank services are available between 8 to 2, 8 to 5. But our digital channels enable customers to tap in anywhere, anytime, 24/7. And where we've seen traffic to these channels is, for example, you and your partner at 10 p.m. in the night discussing goals that you want to achieve, or 1 a.m. in the morning, there's a dream that's exciting you, that's keeping you up, or 4 a.m. in shower, getting ready for the day, and you have a bright idea. And at that point is when you really want to jump on it, but the bank don't open till 8 to 2 or that time. So what AI has enabled is for you to engage immediately. And where we want to shift and leveraging AI is that all you need to tell us is your goal. When you heard me mention it, I mentioned goals, I mentioned dreams, I mentioned a bright idea. That's the need from customers. The need isn't that I need a loan, I need a credit card, right? So with AI, all you need to tell us is your goal. Answer a couple other questions so we can use the data to sort of profile you as well and give you the best products to support you and your dreams to get to those dollars, and we also get to those dollars. So that's specifically how I do support the journeys in NCB with AI.
Thank you, Novandro. Denario?
Right. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me now? Yes, good. All right, so in the investment landscape, we want to know what to buy, when to buy, and how to buy, and how much. Right? AI is enabling faster decision making. It's acting as a partner to our investment advisors, giving insight so that they can help our clients. It's enhancing the way we do business, our research analysts, by it's able to analyze financial data, large amount of financial data. And just to give you an example so that we can better create wealth for our clients, it's able to identify patterns and to draw correlations to leading indicators that feed into industries and businesses, right? And that gives insight that can say, okay, these are emerging trends, so that you are able to quickly decide, okay, do I need to take a position in a particular stock? It helps in analyzing to say how much, to structure your investments, right? To create that habit of investment where it can propose to indicate, okay, you should be allocating 10 to 15% of your investments in order to achieve your goal of our financial security over your lifetime and to be secure in retirement, etc. So we see AI coming alongside our investment professionals to support and enhance what they do to deliver accelerated value to the clients and to the Jamaica as a whole.
Okay, so Denario and Novandro, we're not letting you off the hook that easy, right? I know you already provided us with some insights in your delivery earlier, Denario, but the theme tonight is data to dollars. So we really want some more information on how this data is turned into accountable financial insights, especially for investment decisions. So we want you to tell us again, break it down for us. Give us some more examples, some more insights. So Denario, I'd love to hear you, share some more. And Novandro, I know you kind of gave us an overview, but we really want to dig into this. We really want to get to the meat of the matter.
All right. So, repeat your question.
All right. So what I think our audience wants to hear is, how is data being turned into actionable financial insights, especially for investment decisions?
For investment decisions. Okay. All right. So I'll give you a practical case, right? Let's look at the stock market, right? We can select, we can look and analyze and draw comparisons to. Let's choose a stock. Let's call it probably Fesco, right? Let's use energy, right? There are raw materials that feed into that they use in their business. So we can track the price of the raw materials to see what is happening or price is trending up or price is trending down, right? We can track gas prices to see if gas prices are going up or it's coming down. We can draw a parallel comparison, look at the correlation of, okay, when gas prices go up, are stock prices going up or is it coming down? We can also draw a comparison to the performance of the company to see, okay, when gas prices go up, does the performance go up or does it come down? And that can help to drive, it's not as simple, I mean, the research analysts will look at the fundamentals, etc. But it can draw to say, okay, this is a stock that you may want to consider because we are seeing this indicative indication that based on the trend, the historical trend, we are seeing that as gas prices go up, the financial performance is likely to go up. So it may be a good time to buy. Or this is a good investment over a long period. Right? So that's a way that it can be used, where you look at the historical data, we draw the comparisons and correlations across the performance of the company as well as the leading indicators to help make recommendations that you can consult with your financial advisor to see if this is a suitable investment for you.
Okay, thank you. Navandra.
I'll probably give two examples. Typically, when we think data, we think that maybe transaction prices, as Denario mentioned. Better? Much better? Okay, got it. Typically, when we think data, we think maybe transactions, maybe prices, maybe measurements, but some sources which we would probably call alternative data sources that we don't think about is social media. You being on social media generates mass amount of data, right? Satellite imagery does generate data. And a use for social media and pairing it with AI is that you can get ahead of probably the buzz in a company reflecting in its stock prices. So there can be conversations, chatter, interest in a particular business product in just social media before it even hits the stock price, and you can get ahead of that buzz, sort of like information there that you're benefiting from, and AI can detect that quickly for you. Satellite imagery, let's go with the same FESCO example, and leveraging that data that maybe traffic is longer at FESCO. A lot more people is going to that gas station. Hey, something is happening with that company. Something is about to come, and I can jump on that. So AI can support with that. Denari shared earlier robot advisory. Just treating it as a personal advisor, a best friend that's in your pocket that can know you in terms of who you are. Goals is also a data point of view as an individual, and it using your profile and matching on others who have been successful and giving you insight into the things that work for them and that can also work for you to build wealth. So those are two examples.
Okay, thank you very much, Navandra. Okay, so this question I'm more pointing towards Dr. Peter and Dr. Renisha. What ethical concerns arise when using AI in high-stake decisions like investing, national security, or even public safety?
Should I start? I start? Well, AI is a powerful tool, or can be a powerful tool. And as much as it can do a lot of good, it can do a lot of harm as well. Remember that when we talk about AI, we're actually, in any particular situation, there's a model that has been trained. Now, you can train your model with malicious data, right? And it's going to carry out whatever effect you have planned for it to do. For example, as we speak, right, there are hackers using AI to try to hack into people's accounts or do some damage somewhere around the world. And usually they succeed. They do succeed. And that way people lose billions of dollars every year. It's not publicized, but it's in that scale. So the use of AI can be harmful. That's just one example. But we have examples right here in school where students use AI to do their homework. Yes, so we grapple with that every year, every semester with students. You know, they submit a work and we don't know how plagiarism. And with AI, though, it's even hard to catch the plagiarism. You know, you have to use your experience as a lecturer and say, no, this is AI. Okay? So, but on a wider scale around the world, which for me gives me sleepless nights, is lethal AI. Okay? That we are now training weapons with AI. If you look at the one in Ukraine, it's a non-contact war. You don't see soldiers coming to grapple like in the First or Second World War. No, come on, they just send the drones. All right, the AI will go and do the damage. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we need to iron out with AI. Unfortunately, our laws are so slow. Before the AI has already gone ahead, before the laws now come crawling, and by the time the law catches up with AI has moved on again. So this is where we are with technology in general, especially computing technologies. And this is, I think, a moral issue that, I don't know, as a society, we need to set up a way of catching up with technology as it evolves.
Looks like we need AI for the lawmaking.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah.
Dr. Anisha.
Okay, thank you. And so when Rickert and Weber coined their wicked problems terms, and they have 10 characteristics of a wicked problem, one of those issues were that, you know, the answer isn't necessarily yes or no, but it is good or bad. And so the effects are good or bad. And so in this case, even from a government perspective, working in the space, when we talk about AI and when we talk about data, we have to talk about cybersecurity as well. The truth is that I would have mentioned earlier that we use predictive analytics, for example, geospatial analysis, but just imagine, right, some of these insights are incorrect or they're inaccurate. These are public funds that we're talking about. So when we think about investments, then from a government perspective, we need to ensure that not only are we utilizing AI, but that we are doing the necessary checks and balance, and that the ethical considerations are being followed. Now, a lot of us dread the Data Protection Act of 2020, right? I see a lot of nods in the audience. But the fact is we need checks and balances. And the reason why we need ethical considerations, checks and balances, etc., is because, as my colleague mentioned earlier, we're training these programs, we're training these machines, and in the term artificial intelligence really means that we are training these machines to exhibit some sort of human intelligence. So whatever we train them to do, they're going to do at the end of the day. And like any other thing in society, as there are good benefits, there can be consequences as well. And so I just want to give us this example. We utilize JCF's murder statistics to look at hotspots, hot street segments, for example. We use tools like Tableau, we use Power BI, you know, to visualize, because as I would have mentioned before, these insights are good to see. And so we'd have these data sharing meetings where we come together, we look at the data. And after that, what we do is that we steer social investment. In Minister's speech last year, social investment was a key part of it in bolstering citizen security. Just imagine we have a program that's really telling us, listen, you know, it's Spanish Town Road that we're seeing the hot spots instead of, you know, a street in Denham Town, for example, and we direct investments in that way. Again, this is public funds. These are people's lives we're talking about. It's good or bad, and there are literal harm that people can be placed in. And so it's important for us to think about the ethical considerations. It's important for us to know, too, that whilst we have AI, we're not not just leaving it on its own, but we're doing the necessary monitoring, evaluation, and learning, because in the hands of the wrong people, it can be weaponized. So we ought to continue, have these checks and balances, and ensure that at the end of the day, we're not giving all the power to AI, but we retain some of that power as well.
Good point, yes. Okay, so Novandra, Denario, I'm curious, are we moving toward a future where AI reduces financial risk, or are we simply replacing one type of uncertainty with another?
We aren't, because there are frameworks in place. And for it, have you ever heard of AI TRISM? No? Love an opportunity to teach. Big up my boss on this one. So TRISM, T-R, common I-S-M. T stands for trust, R-I, risk, and S-M, security management. So with the trust, we can liken our AI for us having a relationship, sort of a friend. And if you're to have trust with a friend and a friend gave you some questionable advice and you kind of side-eye the advice, what would be your next step is to ask, where is that coming from, to explain. So that's where trust comes from, and the concept of explainability with AI. Any output from AI, we must understand why we are getting that output. We must have an understanding what's the reasoning behind it, right? And that's where some of the power comes back to us as well. So don't use the insights unless there's some level of explainability. Where risk management comes now is constantly retraining and ensuring that there are valid outputs coming from the AI, and you understand it's staying on top of things. And security management now comes around encrypting the data, protection of personal identifiable information, PII, as well as fraud detection with the AI. So there's that framework around it that helps to reduce that risk and uncertainty.
Okay, thank you. Denario, do you have a perspective on that?
Well, it's really just in support, because it does need robust risk management and governance framework so that it can operate within the parameters that it needs to, so that we can manage the risk, because risk is in everything, right? So it will introduce new risks, and it could also enhance old risks, right? So it's important that we have a robust risk management framework and a governance framework that guides how we utilize AI and how it operates.
Okay, thank you. All right, this question is for all the panelists. So I'll start with Dr. Renisha as usual and make my way across to Denario. So how can human judgment and AI best complement each other to aid decision making?
Phenomenal question. So there are a few components that, at least at this point, AI is lacking in, right? And so we often get the question of, wow, is, a lot of fear mongering around AI, etc. But when we think about our financial sector, there is, for example, relationship building.
Right.
What's the name of the chatbot earlier?
Simone.
Simone. No matter how many times Simone responds to you, I'm sure you'd feel better with, an actual advisor. And so whilst we have Simone, we know that at the end, when you really need to diversify your portfolio, etc., you're going to go into someone at NCB and you build relationship, right? So that is one way how we can see, even within the context here, AI is complementing that in-person sort of intervention. What I will say also is that there are certain things like context, right? Context matters. And so these are just some of the areas where AI isn't necessarily a panacea. And so you would continue to need that human intervention to continue retraining, remodeling, ensuring that at the end of the day, it is in the right hands and the best interest. And when we think about government, citizen security, etc., it is important for us to empower citizens, all of us in this room, just to remember that at the end of the day, it's merely making our lives easier, helping us to make predictions, etc., in a way that is time space compressed, and so we can make faster, quicker, more accurate decisions. But at the end of the day, even if it's ChatGPT, there's still someone around the computer typing and giving the commands and putting in the data, etc. Not that that is right, by the way, ChatGPT, but just saying there's always the human component that's going to be necessary. And I think, wherever there's an issue or whenever we discuss challenges, there's always a window of opportunity. And I think AI, we're just honestly at the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more to do with the experts, with the right regulatory framework, with the policies, laws, etc. There's much to uncover. So I wouldn't want us to be in fear at all. I would, say let us embrace it and learn about the complementary ways that we can leverage AI.
Thank you, Dr. Anisha. Dr. Peter.
So I've met a lot of people. Maybe because I'm a lecturer, and they come to me and say, oh, will AI become more intelligent than human beings? Has anybody ever asked that question here? Yeah. Yes. So I'm going to give you the answer today. AI is a useful idiot. Okay. And let me explain why. I don't have all the time in this setting, but remember that this is just some electrical wires in silicon, okay? And we give it intelligence to a point where we have something we call microarchitecture. From the microarchitecture, you have what we call the instruction set. Now with the instruction set, you can tell that idiot what you want it to do, okay? It's never going to go beyond that. What you're typing into the computer is data. The circuitry is logic. So beyond data and logic, it can't do anything more than that. But it has advantages. It helps us do mundane tasks. Like if you have a lot of things to do, we don't have that focus and stamina as human beings to do the same thing over and over accurately over a long time. Then it is useful. Okay? You want to move objects from one point to the other? It can do that for you. Okay? But it's never going to have an intelligence that is beyond human intelligence. It will be just as intelligent as we want it to be, not more. All right? So everybody relax. AI is here as a tool. It's never going to become better than you. And some have said, oh, I'm going to lose my job. No. The job will be modified by AI, but the job will never vanish. So what you need to do is adapt to the new reality, that there is something you can use to do your job better. And believe me, AI is here to bring a lot of prosperity to the world. Yeah. Because you can do more in a shorter amount of time and earn more in a shorter amount of time than ever before in human history. So that's it about, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Peter. I feel a little bit more at ease.
I kind of want to pick up on the last part because my first introduction with AI was with a group of copywriters. Mm-hmm. And I saw the fair, and I had to explain that, no, this takes it to our editor status. You get a cool title of prompt engineer, right? That's you do still have to feed and tell it to change the tone and reword and set the context and all of that. So you do need that mix of the human element and the AI. And outside of that, I'll give two other points that the AI being trained on data now and giving you a response now isn't a response that's going to be valid in the future. So continuous learning is important with AI, and it does require us as humans to support that continuous learning. Just as how we go to school, we get our bachelor's, the master's, the doctorate, we do need to support the AI in that way as well. And two, AI does have blind spots. Our friends have blind spots, AI has blind spots as well. And it is going to come down to us as humans to intervene and to step in where we need to question, maybe something is questionable, what is happening, and fill those blind spots. So it's really a mix of the artificial intelligence and the human expertise that is going to give you that power.
Okay, Denario.
Sound like they've said it all. All right. But just to add, yes, I do believe that the AI, it really enhances what we do and enables us to make better decisions, right? It brings to the forefront patterns and trends that we may not recognize at a glance. So it helps to accelerate the decision-making process, and it can help to enhance what you do. I would say, Doc says that it won't take your job. However, if the job, it is important that you continue to upskill yourself, because if the task is routine and mundane, then what would happen is that the AI can replace that, right? So you have to upskill yourself now to say, okay, how do I utilize the information to create more value-added insights and make recommendations and so forth, right? The context, as was mentioned earlier, is important because it gets information. There may be blind spots, as Nova mentioned, that where the human element now comes in to bring it all together. So,
Thank you, Denario. Okay, this question, I want to start with Dr. Peter, then Dr. Anisha. So as AI continues to transform industries, like it's doing in finance, what role should universities and educators play in not just teaching technical skills, but also preparing students to use AI responsibly and ethically?
I started. Oh, okay. I think that we need to modify our curricula. First of all, I remember, I can't remember now, is it like in the 90s or so, there was this push by universities to teach some form of computing as a general education course. So I'm sure most of us here who've been to universities had to take that first-year compulsory course in computer science, of some form of computing, like how to, word processing and so on. Now we have come to the age of AI. It's important for us to develop curricula that will inculcate AI into what our students are doing. Because whatever job they are going to meet outside, they will definitely will be using some form of AI. We don't know what it is going to look like yet, but we've started talking about it here at UCC, how we're going to develop like a university-wide course to teach on AI. Correct. So that's where we are. I don't know about other universities, but I know that UCC is always one step ahead. Yeah? Yeah? Come on. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Peter. Dr. Anisha.
Okay, so 3 points. I think the first one is really that we should start young. So the question really spoke to university and educators, right? So I'm going to say, when we talk about tech, children live what they learn. And so children are, nowadays, they're using their tablets. You can't even get them off the tablets, by the way. So why not use this as an opportunity then, especially in the school system. We talked about developing the curricula, to introduce AI, and not just AI, but, cybersecurity, tech from an early age. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is that, we talk a lot about civics, and there is a whole public debate about civics and reintroducing civics in schools, etc. But what we ought to do is to teach AI and the use of AI and leveraging AI and technology as a civic tool, not just as a technical one. What does this mean? It simply means that as we are teaching about technology, we ought to also teach about, again, the challenges that come with it, ensuring that we're teaching about the ethical considerations. What I'll say is that for every university, there's supposed to be a research committee that reviews all research, etc. There are forms that you need to fill out, submit, etc. We need to ensure that all these forms, all these systems are retrofitted to ensure that we're making provisions for tech. Because if we don't, it means that we're really living in the past, right? We ought to realize that AI is here, it is now, and it is the future. And so we have to ensure that everything that we're doing, we're constantly revising and revisit to ensure that those are really with the time and valid for our current days. The third point is really that we must cultivate creators, not just consumers of responsible AI. What does this mean? It simply means that, again, as we're continuing to empower, to innovate, we ought to also impress the need to utilize AI, utilize technology in a way that is ethical. So it means that if we need to revamp the courses, if it means that there needs to be additional training, if it means that we need to give real-world simulations and examples of the things or that could happen as a result of AI being in the wrong hands, it means that we need to do that. But it cannot be business as usual. We like to talk about technology, and we love to utilize technology, but if it is that we're going in the place that we're utilizing data and AI for the greater good, it means too that we have to revisit our systems, the laws, the legislation, and the curricula, just to ensure that we're not just consumers, but we are responsible with it at the end of the day.
Excellent. Just checking so that Nova and Denario don't feel left out. Did you want to add anything to that, or you felt they adequately covered it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I really want to hear from the audience now. If you have any questions. Okay. I guess. All right. I see your hand. Mic come in. Okay, ma'am. Yes, of course, we want to see you. Wow.
That was fast.
Quick draw, my girl.
Okay, good night, everyone. To introduce myself, my name is Kelia Phillips, and I am a third-year bachelor student pursuing my BSc in Information Technology here at UCC. All right, I would like to first commend the speakers. I was well engaged, well informed. AI is something that I do have a personal interest in outside of academia, the ethical usage of it at least. And I am always happy to hear about money, because who doesn't like money? So I believe that this was a very timely topic to speak about. So thank you to the organizers and thank you to our speakers today. Now on to my questions. I would like to ask in terms of, and this is a general question from the panel, in terms of, or rather, for the NCB speakers, I wanted to ask, noting the Data Protection Act, what data is being used to feed Simone, and is this data ethically collected from users? Because as a user myself, one thing that I believe I've even spoken about in a space similar to this is that the data that is normally used to feed our ChatGPT, our DeepSeek, is not always ethically collected, and users often don't know about it, and it is referred to as stolen data in the spaces that I'm familiar with. So I know that NCP is a very good corporation, a very ethical corporation, and I wanted to ask, how are you guys collecting your data? Are you ensuring that your users are aware, hey, we're using your data to feed Simone, more open or no? So I just wanted to ask about that.
Absolutely, I'll add to it. Thank you for your question. First of all, I do want to point out I'm a St. Andrew High School girl as well. I see your shirt. And yes, it is ethical. We are very serious about the Data Protection Act at NCB. We have rolled out on our different platforms and on our different journeys that you will interact with digitally, the collection of consent. So the power is with you to indicate if you do want us to utilize your data, and once that is given. So when you experience the journey with a risk profiler, for example, or any other journeys from in person or digitally on site at expos or etc., you will be met with that sort of being clear about how we're going to use the data and capturing that consent, and that is stored and managed, whether it is to give consent or you can withdraw your consent as well. And that is what becomes core of how we communicate, interact with our customers and their data.
Okay, thank you, Navandra. By the way, I don't want our online attendees to feel left out. Please share your questions in the chat.
Online question.
Okay. Everybody quick today, boy. As I say online, I get an online question. All right. Miss Emma Lewis, I'm seeing your question. Emma is asking, how are you making your digital channels accessible to people with disabilities, senior citizens, etc.? Plus, I think this is how can AI help?
I'll take that one as well.
Okay.
So our channels are accessible to anyone. Absolutely, in where assistance is required, we will pair it with the human intervention to support disabilities and the elderly. I'll share a fact that when Denari and I just started working together, and he asked me for some stats on the people who engage with us a lot on WhatsApp. The demographic was what we probably consider an elderly demographic. You expect the 20s, the 30s, but you are getting a lot of our 40s, 50s, and over. sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking
More
age
mature,
ranges
more
in the
mature.
mind, but it's the more
40s is the
mature.
elderly?
No, I'm not saying 40s is the elderly. My apologies. My apologies. But the point I was trying to make is that you expect the young, the 20s, to be using WhatsApp, those have it on their phone, but we get a lot of engagement from one of the group that is trying to be pointed out in this question. So yes, our digital channels are accessible to everybody, and where there are we detect struggle, because there is struggle detection that we do have on our digital journeys, and that we find that you're probably locked in a loop or you can't get past a certain question. Those are pulled out, and we either refine the journey so it's easier for you to complete that journey, or we put some human intervention that, all right, route me to a financial advisor, a wealth advisor if it's on a wealth journey, route me to a personal financial officer, because we see that you do want the support, but the channel at the moment isn't supporting you as best as it can. We will work on it in the background, but we'll put that human intervention to get you to achieve whatever you're trying to engage us for.
Thank you, Navandra. Okay.
Thank you. And thank you all for a very insightful and informative session. But I have a question for NCB persons, and it really picks up on where Dr. Ndaja spoke about how the models work, that you put information in and then you tell it what you want it to do and it will do it for you. But in the world of finance, we know it's very dynamic, things change rapidly. And we also know sometimes the dangers of just relying on historical information. So how do you manage that process?
All right. So, all right. So it's, remember we spoke about the training of the bot. So it's not just taking data, historical data in and of itself. That information is utilized, or research analysts or experts in the industry would assess to see if it is making appropriate recommendations, right? So we would define the rules that it would utilize, and where those rules would need to be refined, then we have intervention measures to intervene to catch where there may be misrepresentation of the information. So generally when we're training the bots, there's extensive training. Extensive, we put different scenarios to it to ensure that, and we even try to break it to see what it produces, to see if what it is doing is in line with what we expect.
I'll add a step right before the training and the stress testing, which is actually data auditing and pre-processing of the data. So before it even gets injected into the models to be trained, there has to be that review of the data to employ techniques to reduce any biases that can come up, maybe triggered by gender or triggered by income. For example, some normalization of the data, so you can reduce the chances of getting skewed patterns, and also going back to the data protection, some level of data anonymization as well to protect PII. So just adding that step before we also do get to that retraining and stress testing on models.
And what is important is that you hear us speak of the robust governance framework. So there would have been extensive work to go into the preparation of the data to ensure that it doesn't breach those governance processes. And then we also use our partners to test, to do security testing and to run different scenarios to ensure that the models that we create are actually appropriate.
Thank you, Denario. All right, I see more questions from the audience. All right, so the gentleman in the black first, okay?
All right, good evening. So my question is directed towards Novandra and Denario. All right, so when I look at the global financial landscape, I see majority of profitable firms relying less and less on humans for their investment inputs, and largely on these models that they've trained. So as Dr. Renisha said, these models are supposed to exhibit human intelligence, right? In a decade or two, do you see Jamaica being at the point where we're solely relying on these models to create and execute these ideas, reducing the need for example, research analysts? Can you see Jamaica eventually reaching to that point?
All right. So, well, from the research, I do see where even investors are even trusting AI-enabled. The trust level for AI-supported advisory is higher globally, is getting higher because of the accuracy of what is being produced, right? So what I would say is similar to what we said earlier. There's always the element of the human that is important, but I do anticipate that you will see an increased level of trust as you get more familiar with it. Well, let me give a practical example. I mean, when you buy something on Amazon, do you talk to anybody? We don't talk to anybody. Before, back in the days, you had to go to a store. You're not buying it because you're just not sure of what it is. But as you get more comfortable with it, then you'll see more. You don't need that need to speak to somebody reduces, right? Sometimes it can be frustrating. However, I don't know, right? But I do see there will be an increased adoption for the AI predictions, right? Because the data is already showing that systematic investors globally the trust level is higher. They even trust an advisor who is supported by AI-generated insights more than just a regular advisor who is supported by research analysts, because it's faster, it's quicker, and they are able to generate more value from that. So that's what the data is showing.
We have some more from the floor, but I want to share a question from online as well.
Yes, thank you.
So this question is from Adrian Scott. Will Simone, it's one of two parts. So first part, will Simone remain within WhatsApp And the second part is, can Simone really route us to a financial advisor with an NCB based on one's financial profile?
So the first question, Simone actually does not only exist in WhatsApp. Simone is on our web. So if you go to jncb.com, you do find Simone there. Simone is in the mobile app as well, offering right now mostly customer care support. So Simone does not only exist in WhatsApp for any NCB support, whether capital markets, insurance, or the bank. And two, we are working currently on being able to have Simone transfer to a wealth advisor immediately within the conversation. Yes, Simone can route you to a wealth advisor after we've completed an interaction with her, because behind it there are automated systems based on the outcome of your conversation and the goal, whether it's investments or other types of products across our group. You get routed to the best person who's fit to support you in that way. But we are also working to make steps to introduce agents within the conversation that you're in.
Thanks, Nova.
Hi, greetings everyone. I think you somewhat touched on the question that I was about to ask. Now, my question as it relates to access. What is the response time that you're looking for a potential prospect who wants to invest? In addition to that now, on the surface level, it seems primarily to NCB customers only, your internal customers. Now, with the introduction of your WhatsApp, you're more going to external. Now, without compromising space and time, because what this platform would have done, it would have actually opened the market structure, where it consists of potential buyers and sellers without a time constraint. As the illustration you would have put, 2 o'clock in the morning, a thought comes to your head in terms of investment. Now, my question is this. In response to time, what's your response time? What's the turnaround time in order to get a response from someone in terms of an actual person who can put these into plans?
The response time does vary per product. In terms of getting a reach out, we do have set SLAs that by within 2 business days you'll get a reach out from a customer. And again, based on the product, it does have varying times to get to closure for you. I can say for where we have our digital journeys, you may not even need an immediate engagement with Simone, because those can be accessed immediately on our platforms to get access to loans, if that ends up being the outcome of what best satisfy your goal. For products that may involve some level of human interactions, we do have semi-digital journeys within the organization that reduces time. At other institutions, maybe for an unsecured product, it may take up to 5 days. We've managed to gotten it down to about same day or a day at most. In terms of for investment products, getting to an advisor, well, account opening is immediately on Go IPO.
Go IPO.
And
Right.
to fulfill the products, there are certain, what's the ballpark for the SLA there?
Within 3 business days.
Within 3 business days. So that's typically response to the customer to pick up and get that journey started within about 2 to 3 business days. And the closure, which may involve getting documents and so on, it varies based on the product type.
Yeah. At times when there's a lot of responses, especially when we have opportunities, we would leverage support. We get additional support. We reallocate resources and we onboard support. We have a team that is ready that we can call on to help us to support in reaching out to clients in the event to not create a negative client experience. So, for example, when we have, well, the example with the transfer maker off of a sale, on the road, on a piece of the highway, in transfer maker highway, we had a lot of clients reaching out, and we got support. We got support. We onboarded additional persons, trained them up to be able to assist in reaching out to customers and helping them through the journey so that they didn't miss the opportunity.
But what I can also add is that we're never always content with things taking days to close. So while we are working with the human elements, we are also seeing how we can best digitize processes so you can get your products quicker. The examples are within our digital loans and credit cards, and examples are there for our unit trust products that you can invest in immediately through our apps.
All right, so my follow-up question as it relates to that is this. Is there a guarantee that you'll follow? For example, I remember, I believe last year, Jamaica National was trying their investment unit, EquityLink, and they sent a WhatsApp message. I was readily interested in the product. I had made several contacts in relation to that. Up to this day, not even one response. Now, after interacting with your program, getting my hopes up, answering all of this information, being personalized, waiting several hours, is there a guarantee from your end to do a response or even a follow-up if your query was pretty much followed through? Because with the AI, it should be able to provide you with aftercare service. What do you have? What guarantees do you have as it relates to that?
I'll take it.
No, you go ahead. I'm assuming you mean with the interaction with Simone just now.
Just now.
So your first follow-up touch point would be that emailer with the summary and for your confirmation, and that part of it is the consent that you did complete this and you do want to proceed with this with us. And then the human wealth advisor element will come in that Denario would add on.
Right. So the process, how it works in the back end, if it is that we see that we create what we call a lead, right? That is tracked throughout the process, where it's monitored within a particular SLA that these clients are to be contacted within time. And if it breaches the SLAs, then we have governance rules that we employ to ensure that our agents are reaching out in a timely manner. So as I mentioned, it's only in the cases where there may be some delays when we have a flood of clients, and that's usually when we have high volumes, and we monitor to ensure that when we see high volumes, we ramp up in terms of resources. As Novandra had indicated, really are trying to see how we can get the clients to self-serve so that within seconds you are able to get through. But at this time, we have some business days, and there may be delays depending on the high volume. But we do track it, right? We have SLAs on each client that is expected to be contacted that was not able to complete the entire process, and we have those governance rules in place. Is there a guarantee that we'll call you?
Yeah. So the long and short for the journey that you would have just gone through, you did your risk profiler, you're going to get an email immediately with that a lead is generated, and it's sitting for the next, today's what, Wednesday? It's sitting Wednesday. For the next business day in a queue for you to get contact this week about it.
I like your energy. Ready to invest.
We're going to definitely contact you because we don't want you to load us up in the next forum. So you still load up the other person in the other bag?
Exactly.
Okay.
Dr. Hepburn Malcolm, we have a final question from the audience.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Greetings and good afternoon. My name is Davian Phillips, and my question is to the representatives from the Ministry of National Security. Now, what are some of the strategic pros and cons to the implementation of artificial intelligence in Jamaica's development? And I also would like you to touch on the matter of public personnel safety and the risk management when it comes on to the errors when we speak about proactive prevention.
That's a great question. So within the government space, and you would have referred specifically to the Ministry of National Security, we are redefining citizen security to be much more than just security against crime and violence. In Jamaica, when we hear security and safety, typically what really comes to mind is crime and violence. but we're redefining that, and like AI is helping us to do that. So what we're doing now is that we're utilizing tools. For example, I would have mentioned geospatial analyses using ArcGIS, really have AI-enabled capabilities. And what we try to do is that we don't just keep that data or keep the systems at a strategic level. What we do is that we ensure that it trickles down. So what do I mean by this? It means that just last week, we hosted community data sharing committee meetings. We have quarterly committee meetings. One is held for West Kingston, one is held for Montego Bay, one is held for Westmoreland. What we do within these settings is really to educate and sensitize around the cons. So you asked about the cons. We also aim to empower citizens about, the different benefits that you can get from technology, the data, etc., and how you can utilize it to really drive better decisioning, right? In addition to that, we also have, we recently held at the AC Hotel our annual, is it annual? I don't want to misspeak. It's either annual or we host every 2 years, or cybersecurity conference. Not sure if anyone here was at that cybersecurity conference. Now, this is where we convene experts, students, persons from the financial sector, academia, to come in and really impart knowledge around cybersecurity. And, we always look to the government to steer certain things, rightfully so. But as citizens, we also have a responsibility to ensure that at the end of the day, when it comes to cybersecurity, we're also taking the necessary steps. So, are you just clicking the link, when you get that message or when you get that email? Are you activating your dual authentication, for example? So we'll continue to host these fora in terms of the community data sharing meetings to educate and sensitize. We'll continue to host the cybersecurity conference, but even on a day-to-day basis, I know we have our Live Good school tour. Again, not sure if we know about the Live Good school tour, but a part of that school tour is, again, going beyond just security against crime and violence, but teaching, sensitizing, educating about cybersecurity and how, as citizens, we can make better decisions from that perspective. Not sure if I answered your question fully. If you have a follow-up, let me know. Good to go? All right, great.
Thank you, Dr. Renisha. So I'm going to ask each panelist to please give me a 30-second takeaway as I wrap up, So, since you're on the floor already, Dr. Renisha.
Sure. Okay, so my thing would be, whether it's the financial sector, whether it's academia, whether it's government, we ought to look at these issues, again, as wicked issues, and, they have varying roots. When we talk about technology, we ought to realize that what we put in is oftentimes what we get out. So what I will say is that we have to remember that AI is complementing human intelligence. And with that, right, we're making better financial decisions and investments by providing judgment, context, and ethical oversight that AI alone cannot offer. So that's what I'd really say. Just remember that we're doing this in a complementary way, and in the end of the day, it's for the greater good of all. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so for us in the university, our job is to create new AI. That's our goal. So there will be new architectures to come. I can promise you that. So you may think that you've seen all about AI, but I can tell you that there's a lot more AI that will come on the scene. So we not only use AI, but we are setting the stage to create our own kind of AI. All right? I don't want to go into all those technical details here. But if you look at UCC today, we have 2 engineering programs. It's for a reason. We have a program in AI, or 2 programs in AI, and data science as well. So it's a plan, and we're working on it. So what we plan to do here is, first, the engineering students, we're trying to build a lab where we can produce our own circuits, and imbue those circuits with our own kind of intelligence so that we can be self-sufficient in electronics. So that's the goal.
Thank you, Dr. Peter. Novandro.
I think it's pretty simple for me. As an analyst, you hear it often, or with anybody really, you work smarter, not harder. And AI does support that. We spoke about it earlier, that it can handle those mundane tasks. So I would say embrace it not just because in the organization you're in, they're telling you to use it for your life. I use it every day to make tasks easier. I think it also helps to get the creative side out of us. So don't be fearful of it, create, embrace it, and remember that it is a partnership, as Dr. Renisha said. It is artificial intelligence plus the human expertise that is going to make it powerful to give you those smarter and safer strategies.
Thanks, Nova. Denario.
All right. It's an exciting time that we are in, right? And AI is here. As my fellow colleague mentioned, it's here and it's here to stay, right? On the financial side, what I'll say is utilize it to learn and understand about how to invest, to take advantage of opportunities, right? And to create wealth for you and your family, right? Don't be afraid to engage with the technology, right? Because it will help you, right? So yeah, that's what I would say. Don't be afraid. Utilize it to understand, right? It has the information, it will share, it will teach you, it will guide you. Utilize the information to your advantage to create wealth.
Thank you, Denario. And that's officially a wrap. Thank you to our very astute panelists, and thank you to you, the audience, and those online for your participation. So with that, I hand over to the hostess with the mostest.
For this stimulating, exciting. Yes. Thank you, panelists. We had Denario Brown, Novandra Allen, Dr. Peter Ndasha, Dr. Renasha Blake, and Dr. Carrion Hepburn Malcolm for being a lovely moderator. Thank you again. I now call Dr. Andrea Sutherland, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, to give the vote of thanks.
Wow, what an evening. Really and truly engaging, thought-provoking evening. And, you know, all good things come to an end. I know many of us would love to sit and hear a lot more this evening, but I am sure that we can make arrangements for that. So I really would love to thank all the persons who made this evening possible. So as we come to a close, I really would like, on behalf of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean and National Commercial Bank, to thank you all for joining us this evening, both here and online. First, to our keynote speaker, Mr. Denario Brown, Vice President of Strategy and Innovation of NCB Capital Markets Limited. Thank you for setting the tone with your insightful remarks. You reminded us that data, when combined with vision and technology, can transform not only our portfolios, but industries and livelihoods. Your message challenged us to think critically about how we leverage AI, not just to generate returns, but to shape a smarter and more inclusive financial future, which is really what we need. To our distinguished panelists, Ms. Novandra Allen, Dr. Peter Ndasha, Dr. Renasha Blake, and once again, Mr. Denario Brown, thank you for generously sharing your expertise, your real-world examples, and your diverse perspectives. It was really very interesting to see the range of ideas that we shared this evening. You each brought a different perspective to the conversation to show us how AI is impacting finance, public security, education, enterprise in meaningful and interconnected ways. I think we have gone past the world where everything was in its own little silo. We are so interdependent, so interconnected these days. And I think AI will only make sure that we embrace that a lot more. A special thank you to our moderator, Dr. Karen Hepburn Malcolm, Head of Wealth at NCB Jamaica, for guiding our conversation with clarity, balance, and warmth. There are times when these kinds of conversation about technology can be very dry and you're kind of like it's over your head, but I think she really steered the conversation in a way that we could all understand and leave here thinking about AI. Your ability to make your ability to make complex ideas accessible while keeping the discussion engaging and on track was masterful. Thanks to Professor Warner for her warm welcome and opening remarks that set the tone for the event. Thanks to our energetic host, Dr. Sheila Paul, who with her grace and energy made the occasion special. Thanks also to the event organizers, Ms. Anna Toby and the NCB team, Mr. Richard Mitchell, and the UCC team for making this occasion special. The technical team, media partners, all your work behind the scenes was seamless, made it seamless, professional, and impactful, and we do not take that for granted. To our audience, both here and online, thank you for your thoughtful questions, your curiosity, and your presence. We know that without you, this event would have been meaningless. So we're really grateful. And thank you for staying. We know it went a little bit over time, but the fact that you stayed meant that you were really engaged. And we thank you for that. The success of this event rests just as much on your engagement as it does to the speakers and their expertise. So at this point, I'd just like to say, have a wonderful evening. We do have refreshments, so please, before you leave, stay a while and just enjoy with us. Thank you again.
And thank you, Dr. Sutherland, for leading the planning efforts on behalf of our university. To bring tonight's program to a close, we now invite Paul Brown. Are you here? Okay. Who happens to be the 2024 Rickert Allen Scholar, to share his reflections. And then we're done after that.
Good night, everyone. I'm a little bit nervous, so please forgive me. But good evening, everyone. How is everyone feeling? Awesome. So I want to say it has been great, and I'm honored to actually sit in and listen to all that was poured into us, from investments, from those in the banking system, for those in national security, and to my lecturer over there who taught me math last year. I'm just honored to stand here tonight, and to our distinguished presenters, I must say, well done. Put your hands together for them one more time. Also to the leadership team here at UCC, thank you for continuing creating a space like this where we can learn, question, and grow. And to NCB, thank you for commitment to innovation and for believing in Jamaica's talent. I am a living proof of your investments in changing lives. Now, so there was a time I wondered, right, if my dreams were too big. And I must say that the NCB Foundation reminded me with the right support, no dream is too far out of reach. I am now pursuing a degree in cybersecurity, leading student clubs and launching community initiatives, not because I had all the answers, but because someone believed in my potential. But what inspires me even more is that NCB isn't just pushing boundaries with technology. They are investing in people. They are opening doors for students like me to pursue careers in finance, tech, and even fields that didn't exist a decade ago. So this lecture has reminded me why it is important that the human side of innovation matters. I appreciated the emphasis on ethical AI, the importance of digital upskilling, and the fact that you encourage us that no matter how we feel about the job, our job will always exist. We just have to upskill ourselves, and work on moving forward. And as we honor the life and the legacy of the late Dr. Rickert Allen, a man of innovation, leadership, and excellence, we are reminded that it's still people, real visionary people, who make the difference through memorial lectures. This example continues to challenge us to think bigger, act bolder, and leave an lasting impact. Thank you.
Okay then. All right. So there you have it. One of our scholars. We want to thank you again for being here with us this evening and for really having a wonderful time with us. I look at Mrs. Baxter and see her smiling. So I know you enjoyed it. For those folks online, thank you for sharing this time with us. Sorry you can't get the refreshments, but we know how that goes. All right, so we have some refreshments outside. We ask that you join us. For anyone from the media here, if you want to contact us for more on this event, you may speak with Giselle Riley at NCB or our own Talisa Thompson at UCC. So please join us outside, mingle, get to know each other better, and enjoy the evening. Thank you and good night.
Okay, just asking our panelists